The John LeBang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised. Imagine, if you will, you're sitting home, enjoying a nice dinner. Maybe you're out at a movie theater or at some nice restaurant somewhere with your family, enjoying a good time. Maybe you're out fishing. Who knows? And then all of a sudden, on your phone, you get this.
Ballistic missile alert inbound to Hawaii. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill.
Well, that's what happened to the state of Hawaii on Saturday. Apparently what happened was some fool pressed the wrong button. I didn't know it was that easy to scare everybody to death with just a click of a button. But apparently it is that easy. They're going to have hearings over it. Somebody's head's going to roll. And all the while, these people were terrified for 30 minutes. 30 minutes, that's right, folks. According to the reports, a false ballistic missile threat alert went out to all cell phones in Hawaii last Saturday, sending the state's 1.4 million residents and hundreds of thousands of visitors into a state of panic for more than 30 minutes until emergency officials officially confirmed that the message was sent in error. In error. Seconds after the alert was issued, 911 dispatchers were swamped with phone calls. So that's the actions a lot of people are going to take when they get a threat alert on their phone saying there's an inbound missile. They're going to call 911 to save them, apparently. I mean, why are you calling 911? I don't understand that. What do you think those guys are going to do? Stop the missile from hitting you? Probably, most likely, they're asking where the shelters are at, because nobody knows where the shelters are at. If there are any shelters left. They are still out there. But think about it, ladies and gentlemen. If this were to happen in your neighborhood, in your neck of the woods, would you know where the bomb shelters were? Or would you have to waste time calling 911? Police were able to confirm the message was false alarm within minutes. Yet, it took 30 minutes to inform the state that was, and I'm speaking the people in the state, that it was a false alarm. Patrol officers used bullhorns from their vehicles to alert the neighborhood. A lot of good that's going to do. Just going down one neighborhood with a bullhorn. I mean, how many Hawaii 5-0 cops are out there with bullhorns? Fighters, meanwhile, allowed dozens of people to shelter in place at fire stations until they could get more information. That's the official story, ladies and gentlemen. That's the one they're propagating out to the vast majority of media consumers. that somebody made an accident, somebody made a boo-boo, pressed the wrong button. Now, how can you just press one button to make that kind of boo-boo? I know when I'm working in my retail, which is just retail, mind you, but when I work in a retail store, that just to log in to put an invoice in so the customer can get something, I've got to put my number in. I've got to go through page after page after page of redundant screens, making sure that I'm doing the right thing. And I'm speaking from an archaic point of sales computer, not high-tech United States military via government computer, whatever you want to say it is. So it's easier, apparently, for somebody just to log on really quick and just push the missile alert. I mean, it's like a psych, right? It's like, oh, missile's coming, you're going to die. Oh, psych. So funny, so funny. You wonder if there's not somebody out there or a group of people sitting behind the scenes just laughing their butts off at all this. Are they telling us that it was somebody who just randomly pushed a button and they were hacked and that's what alerted that? That's what sent off that alarm to everybody? Because, I mean, do you really trust that the government's going to give you the full story on any of these things, especially something of this magnitude? So you have the entire state of Hawaii, visitors and all, just in utter fear for 30 minutes. And it was over, apparently, according to the government. Something simple like somebody pushed the wrong button. Wow. Ooh, hit the red button. Don't see. Maybe it was Baby Groot. Maybe they had Baby Groot and they told him, don't press this button. Whatever you do, don't press this button. And you had Groot going, I am Groot. And he pushed the button and it sent out the alarm. I mean, it's that dumb, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Unless it was something a little more nefarious. See, this wouldn't be the first time that the general public was warned of something that didn't really happen through the media, and the general public went berserk. We can hearken back to the 1930s when Orson Welles put out the radio broadcast, The War of the Worlds, and people who tuned in a little late when they didn't get the very beginning where they were talking about this as a program, and they tuned in past the first 5 minutes of the broadcast, where if you would listen into the broadcast, and I'm going to make that available on LEBANG.com, probably on the show prep page for you guys, so you can go listen to it and see if you missed the first 5-10 minutes of it, you might have thought that this was really happening. There were people in a small little town who, when they heard this broadcast, because they probably tuned in a few minutes late and missed the disclaimer saying that it was a fictional broadcast, these people went out and shot down their own water tower. They totally mistake their own water tower for one of the tripods that was being broadcast on the War of the Worlds little story there. They totally forgot that their own water tower in their town was there. And they went and shot it up because they thought that was a tripod. And I wonder if this wasn't something similar, where they wanted to test out, see how people would react if such an event happened. I mean, they got a full-blown drill without actually having to call it a drill. They even said it's not a drill in the text message. Can you imagine you're sitting there and all of a sudden, the Amber Alert, you think it's an Amber Alert, right? It comes on your phone, you look, and you're like, oh, Amber Alert, I'll look that up. And then next thing you know, it's like, inbound missile going to come blow your ass up. I wonder how many people got out of paying for their check that day at the restaurant they were sitting at. Oh, screw that, we're out of here. Check, please. Check. Oh, boy. So I'm making a little bit light of the situation only because it's ridiculous. But then when you think about it in a more deeper fashion and you realize that this may have been some kind of false alarm, a pretty big false alarm, one that petrified a whole lot of people. But the false alarm produced some results that, well, the governments, federal and state, can utilize to understand better how people would react to a specific event if they knew it was coming. See, I don't even understand why they would warn a whole lot of people, because if a nuke's going to hit, I mean, most people don't know where shelters are. You've seen people were calling 911. Can you imagine that phone call?
Oh my God, let's go 911.
911, how may I help you?
My phone says a missile's coming towards us. What should I do?
Well, put your head between your legs and kiss it goodbye.
I mean, those people were in panic. I understand, and I don't want to make light of that, but people, you got to be a little bit more prepared. This is another reason another instance that shows you that the American people aren't prepared for anything, and they probably are going to panic at the first sign of trouble. And, well, this event that happened in Hawaii definitely can be used, at least to be analyzed on how people reacted to the apparent missile attack that never took place because it never happened. And one random person, I mean, do you believe that, ladies and gentlemen? Some dummy, some moron, some ignoramus decided he was going to push the wrong button. Hey, let's see what this button does. Boop. And everybody goes in a panic. Sure, somebody's going to take the fall. Somebody's going to get fired. Maybe a couple of people get fired because the person that pushed the button wasn't trained properly, and that person who trained them probably is going to get fired too. Then you kind of sweep that under the rug. But so many other things came from this. They've got to study a live exercise right there. They didn't even need to have law enforcement in place, ladies and gentlemen. All they had to do is watch the cameras, because we know every street corner these days has a stupid camera on it. At least any mainstream street corner. Tax dollars hard at work, folks. That's what they do. They need that extra money that put us in deficits and all that to pay for those cameras so they can watch people react to a live action drill that was accidentally created by some moronic imbecile out there in Hawaii who figured pushing a red button was funny or something like that. I don't buy the story again. Maybe that's me. I just have a questioning mind, and I don't buy this story that's always spoon-fed to me. I mean, how is it that simple to be able to push a button to freak out an entire state of people? Now just think, this is Hawaii, not one of the biggest states. We'll grant you that. 1.4 million people with tourists. Maybe you got, 1.5 military base there. It's interesting. It's all by its lonesome out there. They can't run. It's not like, you're here in the state of Michigan and Fermi 2 melts down and you hear about it and you might be able to drive in an opposite direction for a long ways. Even if you got to drive up to the Upper Peninsula over the bridge and out to Wisconsin or whatever, you still have a way to get out. In Hawaii, there's no way to get out. Ballistic missiles coming, you're bumming, dude. Stay tuned as more of today's